I wish I could retire. Boy, that'd be sweet.
Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 243. It is the second day of the week, aka the special beam cannon workout. I am feeling pretty good and I'm very happy about that. Legs actually feel wonderful, so very much looking forward to this. But anyways, to the main subject matter for today, which is a continuation from the last video, because I actually did want to discuss this. Thinking about it overnight, I realized, oh, hey, I should probably end up talking about this, and that is Dreams Part 4. You in your dreams, and what it may or may not represent. I think the you as in the first person view of you in a dream is probably the simplest out of everything to understand. But also, you kind of need to understand it in a way that once you get it, the other parts will start making a little bit more sense. Yesterday's episode, I discussed more along the lines about the other people you see in your dreams. So this part is relatively self-explanatory, but also not quite, not necessarily. So I feel like it should dedicate its own video to it. I don't think it's the most important of everything, but like I said, it's one of those things that once you understand it, you can it's surface level. So it's not too deep of a conversation piece, but it is something that is enough of a, hey, I should just mention it and it's its own video, because there are elements to it that could be a little different, but it's to each their own, obviously. And sometimes you have those weird dreams where you're looking at yourself, but that's a whole kind of other scenario, and we'll probably discuss that in the voiceover. But for now, I just wanted to make this video, and then I'll probably take a break. I'm gonna wait for another dream to come in, because in my last dream, it was somebody I knew and myself, so I need to get another dream where we involve the other characters, but that's a whole other story and a whole host of chapters afterwards, because there's such completely different things that they could mean and all this other stuff, and I don't want to get too into that in this video. This one's relatively self-explanatory, just the you in dreams. So with that being said, I will see you in Mother Base.
Alright, so start this day off with squats, which are pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Dreams, part 4. You in your dreams. Yes, this one is kind of simple. It's not anything too crazy. I briefly discussed it yesterday, but this is just literally, well, you, but your conscious you. The you that you know consciously. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but think of it as the you as the extent that you know yourself and or would react to things in a normal sense or in a base level sense. It's not anything next level. It's not a messaging or anything like that you have to worry about when you analyze it, because you're more of a camera that's reacting regularly to things. It's not like you are a baseline. Now, your actions can be a symbol for something. Maybe your actions would be a little different than how you would react during the regular world if this dream was happening in the real world. But more likely than not, they are genuinely reactions or just a camera to see everything that's happening in the dream itself. Because sometimes there are times where you feel like you're watching the entire scenario from like a third person view, which is a little different. I wouldn't say that different, but it's just how it shows you the entire dream in its own right. So you don't really have to necessarily overthink being you in this. And I know I could have done this as a different episode in its entirety, but I really wanted to discuss it because a lot of people might overthink that it is them, like they have to analyze their decisions. And I don't think that it is that deep of a thing, because there are other symbolisms that are all around in the dreams that are more representative of the things that you don't know about yourself. So you can think of just you, the avatar of you, as just you, and then you don't have to think of it as anything more than just the conscious you trying to figure out what the hell's going on, as most dreams just drop you off into mostly random scenarios that mean nothing, but could also mean a bunch if you really just stop and think about it. I'll also briefly discuss real quick during this episode, because I might as well talk about it here, because in the subject matter, when it comes to you in your dream, this is not discussing any dreams where you lucid dream, where you are the master and or arbiter of the entire dream. That is a whole other subject matter on its own, because it is a deeper subject matter when it comes to you in a dream, because, well, you become the master of it. And also, there's less symbolism in such a way that your brain starts working for you rather than your brain trying to work itself out with you, if that makes any sense. And it's not the same as a regular dream. So I wanted to mention that here while I had a moment. Relatively speaking, you as in you in a dream is very simple of a concept. And I understand why it would be a little strange to make an entire video about this, but I hope that people would understand that there's no real reason to overthink certain parts of a dream just because of the fact that there are other places and symbols in the dream. So there are times where you should be able to just accept certain parts of it as certain parts. There are parts that aren't necessarily that memorable and or reasonable to be needing a reason to exist, if that makes any sense. Though things may be there as small details for certain reasons or another, certain details about dreams are not necessarily important to what the messaging is all about. So it is important to remember that, especially because sometimes people will over-exaggerate certain qualities or certain meanings of certain things, but it also depends on themselves, because realistically, at the end of the day, no matter where you are, no matter who you are, the dream interpretation is one of those things that you can never really have somebody else interpret them for you. You have to do it on your own, because regardless of whether you show somebody something or not, there are certain elements of dreams that are meaningful to you and only you would understand it. There are things like that where even if it is a small detail, which can be effective and or useful to know, it's something that other people can't tell you exactly what it means. So let's say a object, or even in this case, how you would react, even if it may seem something that may be different from how you react during the day, it could be something that you consciously know that's you and is just how it is, or a symbol that might actually mean something. You find your own meaning in these types of things, and you consciously or even unconsciously understand what is important and what isn't.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. I'm ultra tired, so I'm going to make this part a little quick. But anyways, back to the main subject matter. Dreams. Yourself in dreams. It's really a simple matter in comparison to some of the other things that we'll discuss. And so I didn't necessarily have to make this its own episode. I probably could have lunged it in with something else, but I feel like I should at least describe what's going on so that way it's not something that may be self-evident to everybody, especially when looking at your dreams and everything like that. So it is something to at least think about, it all just depends really. But with that being said, it's nothing too out of this world. I mean, it's relatively simple regardless of how you even interact with dreams. It's relatively easy. So I think it's just one of those things that I felt like I should probably say this as its own thing and then let it go. So with that being said, we'll get into other subjects. We'll come back to dreams. It's one of those things that will come back and forth between throughout time, because I feel like there's going to be examples of each thing pressingly, and it's going to be great whenever I can have like examples in real life, so that way I can pull from that and explain a few things. So with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. This one was more of a random, but not that random one. I would like to know a comment below, just some dream that you remember your POV, or maybe you see yourself in the dream, which is an interesting little bit of a turn on its head type of thing. Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know your thoughts about that. But anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy, stay safe out there, stay warm, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!